You're listening to the All Systems Go podcast, the show that teaches you everything you need to know to put your business on autopilot. Learn how to deploy automated marketing and sales systems in your business the right way with your host, the professor of automation himself and founder of Automation Bridge, Chris Davis.
Welcome to another episode of the All Systems Go podcast, where I invite startup founders and digital marketers to discuss strategies and softwares used to build automated marketing and sales systems that scale. I'm your host, Chris L. Davis, the founder of Automation Bridge. And on this episode, I want to just talk through what you can expect in 2022 for marketing automation with the new year. With this year closing and then the new year upon us, I can say it. I think it's appropriate to cast vision as to what I see on the horizon, channeling my inner Nostradamus Chris to explain what the future may hold. But first, it would be more appropriate to do a review of some of the more prominent happenings this year. And this is with respect to small business third-party software that we're all using, that I train and teach digital marketers to use to automate businesses as automation service providers. And I want to put that disclaimer in there because this is not enterprise software. Okay, this is not that high level, very expensive software that runs corporations. We're talking about lean software tech stack for startups, tech startups, as well as small businesses. So here are, I probably got about 10. Here are my top 10 observations that in review of 2021 are some of the things that stood out the most to me from my vantage point in the marketplace, the tools that I'm using, the tools that I'm recommending, the tools that I'm assessing, things of that nature. And as much as I would like for this to be a comprehensive list of every tool, every category, it's not. It's just not. So let's get started. First off, InfusionSoft's rebrand and continues to rework their positioning with the even not just going from InfusionSoft to Keep. So now it's InfusionSoft by Keep. But also, if you paid attention to their website update, they've got a whole new feel and presentation. And it's important because, and later I'll talk about CRMs, but it's important because of the top 10 CRMs in the market, and Keep by InfusionSoft is on that list. So is HubSpot. So is Salesforce. So this is one of the most prominent CRMs for small businesses in 2021. Rebranding, and I like the way I do like the direction they're going because it fits into what I'm seeing for 2022. I don't want to spoil it, but I'll just start there. But that's huge. That's huge. A rebrand is never easy. Repositioning, reshifting. And as you see, it's taking time to really get that Keep by InfusionSoft, Keep by InfusionSoft, or InfusionSoft by Keep. See, even I get it mixed up, right? But it's becoming more and more prominent, even the name itself. So that's something to watch in 2022. But it's this year for them has probably been one of the most foundational to their future. OK. Observation number 2. I'm not going to count these out. I'm just going to say them. And if we land at 10, we land at 10. Everybody wants their hand in the LMS market. Learning management system. It's expanding like crazy. Some of the most recent and prominent tools are ThriveCart. They added their Learn platform. SamCart added the ability to sell courses. Everybody wants you to make courses. Everybody. And we have COVID to thank. It was going that way anyway. COVID just expedited it. It sped things up. And when I look at the rate that it's going, I wouldn't be surprised if the LMS market is outpacing e-commerce. Like the amount of new buyers every day. I think it's right. Not as big, but I think on the same pace. Right? All right. So the LMS market, in fact, some of these as we're reviewing, I think it's appropriate to really expect more from everything that we've seen this year, next year, in a good way. There's some of these that aren't as good, but in a good way, I think you're going to continue to see the trend of the LMS market. It's still not easy to get a LMS fully configured. I get it. The Kajabi repositioned themselves and pretty much said, hey, you only need us, right? It's easy to get a course up, but to create a true learning management environment where there's gamification, where there's community built in, where there's other means of learning outside of the courses itself, resource pages, things of that nature, in a consistent flow, it's extremely hard to pull that off. It really is. I've done a really good job of it in my program. But if I showed you the back end and walk through what it took to get there, oh man, that's not an easy feat. Okay. So I'll be looking forward to the LMS market, not just expanding, but also becoming more simple to get a comprehensive learning experience in play. Right. The next one is a little unfortunate, but it is something that I observed, and a lot of my students, a lot of people going through my programs in the community have echoed these sentiments. But ActiveCampaign has really slowed down their product updates and new features. I think this year alone, maybe there were 10 like total, and of those 10, they weren't major ones like, redoing how custom fields look on the contact record. And maybe it's a slight tweak here and there. But in the past, and granted, all things change over time, but in the past, users are used to the big update. Hey, we're bringing conversations. Hey, we're this. Hey, we're that. So did they have some stuff? I believe this year was the year that they launched landing pages. Maybe that was last year. It's all blended together. Landing pages, payment processing, website personalization. But here's the thing, everybody. I feel like they were released. The features were released, and then it's like, here you go, on to the next thing. And I can't put my finger on it. It just feels like there's a level of attention that is not being paid to the new features and or making the existing platform either faster, improving the UI. And here's why I say it. I had one of my students walk me through. I've got 10 automations, 10 foundational automations that I teach in my automation service provider program that every business should know. Every automation service provider should know how to build in any platform. Well, he built it in ConvertKit. And while I don't think it was ideal to do it in ConvertKit, as he was screen sharing and showing the UI experience, just the fluidity going in and out of screens and around, oh my goodness, I realized I had some drool. I was like, oh, wait a minute. I didn't realize I was drooling, right? I'm joking, but I'm just saying it was that appealing. And I said, you know what? If ActiveCampaign is paying attention to the market and they just don't want to do any new thinking, just look at what ConvertKit's doing with their whole UI experience. I mean, to go from automation to email within a click is so quick. I mean, I admired it. I will say that. So shout out to ConvertKit and your UI UX experience. It is top notch. Let alone how it visualizes their if else, or it's not even if else. It's more of a case statement where you could have multiple outputs. Say, hey, if they're this or that, like more than two. Whereas ActiveCampaign, you have to do just if else, nested if else's. So anyways, presentation wise, oh my goodness, ConvertKit, UI, UX, ConvertKit, of course, functionality, flexibility, ActiveCampaign. But if we're not going to get any product updates, if we're not going to get any new features, just make what we already have better, easier to use, faster, right? Next, I saw the emergence of Airtable. By the way, Airtable is evaluated at $11 billion now. That was fast. This year, I feel like I was still introducing a lot of people to Airtable. And by the end of the year, it felt like a lot of people were already using Airtable. I still get my Google Sheets enthusiasts that are not using Sheets for like analytics and easier pivot tables and stronger pivot tables and all of that. because Airtable does not do well with like calculations and all of that. It's not built for that. But if you're using spreadsheets for like a CRM, or you're tracking like the status of certain projects or initiatives, why are you not using Airtable? You are doing the most for the least, truly. And following Airtable, not as big of an evaluation, but JotForm, I have to say, if you have not been watching JotForm, I don't care what form software you're using, pay attention to JotForm. They consistently release new features. It feels like one every month. And they're solid features. We were talking about ActiveCampaign kind of releases, and then it's kind of like, oh, this is nice. Not really idea. It's like they're missing the marketers that actually use the stuff, like insight from marketers who are actually using it. Whereas JotForm's releasing these features and they're immediately usable. Now, all of them don't apply to my business, but a lot of them are immediately usable. And it's just like, man, that was great. Right? Another thing in review, a push to white label automation services. This was really brought on by Go High Level. It's a platform that pretty much it recommends agencies to white label their platform and offer it as their own. ActiveCampaign has always been able to do that. I haven't seen that in Keep. Haven't seen it in Entreport. I haven't really seen it often throughout the space. But with as many people that I've seen offering high level, I think that is definitely a trend we're going to see going forward, and where businesses just take on the entire automation building part for you, right? Which also makes sense because they can more easily build the system and deploy it faster, right? Next was quizzes galore. I feel like this is a good thing. A lot of quizzes I've seen, a lot of different types, a lot of variations, a lot of different platforms. A couple that come to mind, I think it's Live Interact. I'm just going off the top of my head here. And then Robin Kennedy, they were on the podcast before. They've got a platform, and I am so sorry that it's slipping my mind. Response Suite. I think it's Response Suite. I may have butchered that name, but anyways, you're seeing a lot more people do quizzes. What does that mean, everybody? All of my automation experts out there, aspiring experts, what does that mean when people are executing quizzes? Or what is that? Our hope on the back end is that everybody's finally segmenting. Everybody's segmenting. Now, you still have to learn how to take that segmented data, market appropriately, personalize, and close. But hey, it's a step. Next, landing page software. What happened, everybody? Is it me? Or is it just like, I don't want to say obsolete, but all the major players are just kind of like, hey, look, there's only so much you can do to a landing page. I have not seen much development. I've seen platforms come out to, hey, fastest loading landing pages, and then I've seen niche ones like, what is it? Like Gorgeous Funnels or something like, I think it was Funnel Gorgeous or something, but where they build landing pages for a specific audience. I've seen that. But in terms of the evolution of landing page software, what happened? Where's the personalization, built-in personalization for a landing page? Speaking of which, like, for instance, ActiveCampaign launched website personalization. ActiveCampaign launched landing pages. The two features don't talk. You can only personalize your website, not landing pages. You can you can build landing pages, but no personalization in their platform. That's what I mean by dropping features and just kind of like, okay, give them something to be happy about now. Why are the landing page software, why are they not making website personalization built in? It would increase the value of their software. So anyways, that slowed down hugely. 2021, community software taking off. People are really buying into getting off Facebook, while at the same time, a lot of people, it's like the people who've been on Facebook groups are looking to own their communities, and the people who have never had a group or community are moving to Facebook. So it feels like Facebook's net sum is probably growing. But for those of us who have been in the space for a little bit, you will see more Mighty Networks, Circle, Tribe, even Patreon, private podcasting. What we should look at is Facebook has vetted that people want community. Now look at this. Mighty Networks is at Series B, 50 million. They may be the biggest one that I researched that has raised funding for community. But there's all types of softwares out there for community building. What is the main purpose? The main thing to take away is that community building is here to stay. It is a part of business, and you do yourself a disservice if you do not partake. I mean, I've seen them as simple as WhatsApp and Telegram groups to, Facebook, to Slack channels, Discord. I mean, they're a variety. And I think we're going to keep seeing it. Hopefully they'll make it easier, and hopefully they'll make these platforms integrate more easily with your LMS. Next, copywriter AI tools. Ton of them. Last year, maybe I saw a few of them. This year, oh my goodness. They're everywhere, it feels like. At least they're targeting me. I'm always seeing an AI tool. Haven't used one, but I'd be interested to just kind of test it out at times and see what kind of copy it spits out. Last, I'll say, is events. Vimeo, Zoom, webinar platforms, all of them are now offering like live event feature. Like they feature that. So it's this idea that, look, even though the world is opening up, COVID is here to stay. Yes, we got to deal with it. A lot of people still feel more friendly at home. We've got to get these live events virtual and easier, right? So all of those things that I mentioned for 2021, the good ones, I'm looking for those trends to continue. The bad ones, like landing page software, ActiveCampaign not dropping updates, things of that nature. I'm hoping they get it together. I really do. So that's essentially behind us in a way, right? So what's ahead of us? What does 2022 have to offer for marketing automation? And here's what I'm seeing, everybody. First off is easier automation, or should I say automation made easy? Let me do it like that. To date, the complexity of implementing automation is still at a level higher than the average marketer. So if it's at a level higher than the average marketer, it's out of reach for the CEO, the average business owner who doesn't even want to look at numbers. You can't even touch it, right? We need to change that. Okay. The company that focuses on making complex logic and marketing execution easy will win in 2022. There's space. Hey, listen, you new tool that's the market's saturated. I can't get in. Yes, you can. Yes, you can get in. Look at what Keep is doing. If you haven't looked at Keep, it's almost like it's a journey, selecting your journey through automation. Hey, what type of business do you have? What do you want to do? What do you want to do after that? It's asking you questions. And then it's almost to the point where it's building the automation for you. If there's anybody closest to this, it's Keep. And that's what needs to take place. People are not going to just jump in these platforms and figure it out. They're not. They haven't. When I was at ActiveCampaign, people were just like, I'm so confused. And I was like, man, this is like the easiest platform. You should try the competitors. Right? So easy automation or the execution of automation made easy is one thing that I think somebody's going to capitalize. I already see Keep moving in that direction. If the other players are smart, they'll do the same. Next up, personalization. This pleases me because consumers are getting more savvy and should be treated like individuals, not like numbers. If the tools don't make this easier for marketers I should say the tool that makes personalization easier for marketers to implement is definitely going to stand out. Again, ActiveCampaign, you talk about low-hanging fruit. This is fruit just on the ground rotting. Make website personalization work with your landing pages. Like immediately value, right? So whoever makes personalization easy in emails, website, communication, maybe it's SMS, Facebook Messenger, whatever the case is, this has been a slow progression for website personalization. And I'm hoping to see an uptick in adoption and execution. What else in 2022? More CRMs, as if we don't have enough. This just means more confusion. But I have to say it, the CRM market is the most confused market. It's funny. I was looking at a chart and it said things that sales folks would rather do than be on their CRM, than go in their CRM. And it had a list. It was like unpleasant tasks. It was like cleaning the house. And essentially it just means that no, as much as valuable as CRMs are, people still struggle to use them effectively. And I think it's because marketers don't really look at the CRM and how they can use it more effectively to prepare sales. All my sales folks will be like, hey, man, Chris, I'll take that. I'll take that. Marketers really need to be better at qualifying leads and handing them over and using the CRM, using automation to populate the CRM so the salesperson is in a position to score quicker, right? Close quicker, I should say. And in the next 7 years, the CRM market is expected to double. It's at about 58 billion now. They're projecting it to be about like 128 billion in the next 7 years. And 70% of companies plan to invest in email marketing. So if you have a proper CRM that can send email, which, by the way, you should have some means of your CRM being able to send email, that's the gateway. Email marketing is going to be the gate. Bigger companies looking to do email marketing is going to be the gateway into leveraging marketing more effectively to get information in the CRM to help sales folks. That's what I see. I'm telling you, that's what I see. Okay. Next, VR. Do I have to say it? Virtual reality, augmented reality, whatever, metaverse, whatever you want to call it. It's here. It's here to stay. I'm interested just as much as anyone else to see what implications this will have on marketing. Do we need to start paying attention to virtual currency, cryptocurrency in our marketing? Do we need shopping carts that are going to take these various currencies? I don't know. Maybe it's too early. Hopefully 2022 will give us just one more hint, right? And then overall, just more needs from small businesses to software startups. The cat is out of the hat or the bag. How does the saying go, right? No longer is automation a secret. It's not a secret society thing. People are actively looking to automate. Granted, when they actively look, that does not mean that they know what to do. They know who to hire. The plentiful harvest has few workers, right? Everybody wants to automate. Very rarely is somebody going to walk them through how to do it properly. And that's mainly because a lot of business owners are still settling for digital marketing that may or may not work. If you can't even get your digital marketing working, you can't automate. That's the foundation. You have to get profitable digital marketing in place first. Okay. So what's happening is when you don't have profitable marketing in place, you haven't grown to focus more on efficiency. Automation brings efficiency. You can't even value that. If your marketing, it hasn't matured beyond the basic needs. You're satisfied with sending an email to everybody and getting leads every now and then. You haven't got to the point where you want personalized messaging going out that closes, that your lead generation is growing, expanding exponentially, right? They don't know what they don't know. So they don't even realize what marketing automation is different than digital marketing. I didn't even realize. They don't know. They're just trying to get some online presence working to make money. And the reality is not everybody can go that step deeper into automation. All digital marketers are not the same. Some people just love digital marketing, building landing pages, running ads, tweaking copy, generating leads, nurturing with basic follow-up sequences. Great job, digital marketer. But when we get to marketing automation, crafting systems that scale, not everybody's built for that. But for those that can do it, they should. And at the risk of sounding like a broken record, now is the time. I'm never going to stop saying it until the time is gone. Then you'll hear me say, well, you missed the boat, right? But there's no reason preventing you from making 2020 and beyond the greatest revenue generating year for your business. If you're a consultant, if you're an automation service provider, or if you're the owner, nothing. I'll tell you what, though, all of you'll need to increase the efficiency of your marketing and sales operations. And that's where becoming an automation service provider becomes critical, because we are the only ones that focus solely on that operational excellence in regard of increasing efficiency, increasing your capacity to deliver consistently with excellence. If you got 1,000 leads, hit your website right now, your landing page, opt into your lead magnet. What is your close rate and why? How can you scale that? Are you ready for scale? I am right now. I can take on 1,000 new students right now. I'm telling you, my system is built for it. You need one. You need one. Digital marketer, stop playing. You know who you are. Some of you have been emailing me, following this podcast for years, literally following my work for years. You're not going to find another resource as smart, as savvy, as comprehensive, and somebody as enthusiastic that gives like I give. You're just not going to find it. I had my buddy MJ just posted in the community. He said, look, the ASP program was well worth the investment. Oh my God, you're changing the game, Chris. I am. I'm telling you. And if you can't tell the difference of somebody who's actually making major moves next to somebody who's just building funnels, well, okay, well, maybe you're not ready. But for those of you who are, it's time to get better results, bigger results quicker. So do this. Cheers. Hold up our virtual glasses. Cheers to next year, a year full of success beyond measure, joy beyond comprehension, work-life balance to enjoy the fruits of your labor, business acumen savvy, paying attention to your finances, just holistic success is what I want for each and every one of you listeners. Thank you for being a listening ear. Thank you for supporting the podcast. Continue to get the word out. We are climbing the charts, but we can get there faster if you guys share. Just share. Let 2022 be the year that you tell somebody about the All Systems Go podcast consistently. Send them episodes. My students send their clients my episodes because sometimes they just need education to understand what they should be looking for, how they should be approaching this. This is value, everybody. So cheers to next year. I hope and pray for all of your success. Those of you who are working hard and positioning yourself to get it, I pray that this is the year that it comes for you. More importantly, I pray that this is the year that automation no longer is a question mark, a puzzle, something to figure out, but something that will be implemented for you properly and done the right way. Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the All Systems Go podcast. If you enjoyed it, make sure that you're subscribed. At the time of recording, the All Systems Go podcast is free to subscribe to, and it can be found in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes are released every Thursday, so make sure you're subscribed so that you don't miss out. And while you're at it, please leave us a 5-star rating and review to show some love, but also to help future listeners more easily find the podcast so they can experience the value and goodness as well. We've compiled all resources mentioned on the podcast, as well as other resources that are extremely valuable and effective at helping you grow your marketing automation skills quickly. And you can access them all at allsystemsgopodcast.com. Thanks again for listening. And until next time, I see you online. Automate responsibly, my friends.